Mars presents a hostile environment for any conventional aircraft. The atmospheric density is less than 1% of Earth's. This diagram models how standard rotor blades struggle to generate lift in that low-density air. To compensate, the rotors have to be massive and spin faster, consuming vast amounts of power. Planetary scientists need to maneuver vehicles into deep craters and tight crevices to gather geological samples. A drone with an enormous wingspan of rotors simply cannot fit into those constrained spaces. Overcoming the aerodynamic limitations of the red planet requires a departure from the rigid mechanics we used to fly on Earth. Since Kitty Hawk, our approach to flight has relied on fixed wings, rigid frames, and thrust. In 1986, a team of engineers spent $700,000 trying to build a half-scale robotic replica of an extinct flying reptile, an ornithopter meant to flap its wings. When they released a model from a tow line at Andrews Air Force Base in front of a crowd of 300,000, it immediately went into a sharp spin. Its neck snapped, and the headless machine crashed into the runway. Nature engineered a biological machine the size of a small plane that navigated the skies for millions of years. Decades into the jet age, our best aerospace engineering could not replicate the mechanics of its flight. The Quetzalcoatlus northropy possessed unusual anatomy. Its massive skull was attached to a lightweight skeleton, and its wings were formed by a leathery membrane stretching from its ankles to hyperextended fourth fingers. This diagram shows the scale of the animal. Standing on the ground, it reached the height of a modern giraffe. When it opened its wings, they stretched 36 feet across. Because modern birds like the California condor rely on thermal updrafts to soar, early paleontology assumed pterosaurs used similar thermal mechanics. But at 600 pounds, Quetzalcoatlus would lose altitude too rapidly while circling to maintain thermal flight. To achieve liftoff, the animal couldn't simply run. On two legs, those massive folded wings would strike the ground with every stride. And while bats can drop from height, the inland habitats of Quetzalcoatlus lacked the cliffs necessary for a gravity-assisted launch. Fossilized trackways proved they walked awkwardly on all four limbs. Their delicate, chopstick-like beaks suggest they spent their time on the ground hunting much like a modern heron, plucking small prey from the water in ancient wetlands. Every physical comparison to living birds or bats failed to explain how this creature moved from the mud into the air. To get airborne, it relied on a different set of aerodynamic principles. In 2008, paleontologist Michael Habib proposed a model based on the animal's specific surface area and mass, known as the quadrupedal launch. To initiate flight, the pterosaur stood in place and rocked its body weight backward. This motion loaded potential energy into its folded front arms, which were packed with dense muscle. Using its front arms like pole vaults, the reptile explosively pushed off the dirt, launching its immense body straight up. This sudden 8-foot vertical leap generated the exact momentum necessary to unfold its wings. It could then execute a deep, powerful flight stroke entirely clear of the ground. The mathematics of this biomechanical sequence proved it also functioned on the water surface. Ocean-going pterosaurs used soft tissue extensions on their feet to push off the waves and leap back into the sky. By utilizing its heaviest limbs as the primary engines for takeoff, the quadrupedal launch bypassed the physical limits that constrain modern birds. This models the aeroelastic problem. Under high-speed wind shear, soft materials vibrate and tear. Pterosaur wing membranes were thin and light. To survive, they evolved an internal structural lattice that neutralized vibration without heavy bone mass. Aerospace engineers at the Army Research Lab are currently mapping this biological geometry. They use it to design high-speed quadcopter rotors that remain thin but resist tearing under extreme motion. The applications extend beyond flight. Material scientists translate these prehistoric structures into durable expedition tent frames and rainflies, allowing them to withstand severe windstorms without shredding. By analyzing the fossilized tissues of 66 million-year-old reptiles, we solve complex material engineering problems today. This brings us back to the NASA-funded Carnegie Mellon Robotics project and the challenge of vertical drone takeoff on Mars. The thin atmosphere and lower gravity of the red planet make traditional rotors inefficient. But those physical conditions are perfectly suited for an aerodynamic design based on flapping wings and a quadrupedal launch. It can land inside a tight crater, vault vertically, and flap away without relying on giant, cumbersome metal rotors. For over a century, human aviation has been defined by rigid wings and spinning propellers. Now, prehistoric biology is directly informing the next generation of spacecraft. To engineer vehicles that explore other planets, we do not have to invent new physics. We simply read the biological blueprints that evolution finalized millions of years ago.